cigar. Greetings, Epiphany time. Woo! You know I love my epiphanies. All right, so I am always seeking deeper truths. It's not like I am trying to spew polarized positivity and motivational mass hysteria. Oh, I love that. I'm seeking deeper truths. Two things that I heard, the ones that resonate deeply with me regarding deeper truths. One was basically, we don't know it all. We don't know the complete picture. And it's actually a dangerous thing to think that we do. Just look at some of the wars declared, or especially some of the religious war declared on people, because I'm right, you're wrong. We're going to have to mutilate you and defeat you so I can feel closer to my maker. So we don't know it all. It's a point of discovery. It's a point of everything in life being cyclical. We always come around and we'll see deeper truths. So I'm more addicted to seeing deeper truths. Hence I say not the deepest truth, but deeper truths. Another thing I heard there once that was resonated with me, which is extremely wise, and I think a deeper truth, is we often trade one set of beliefs for another, one set of belief systems for another set of belief systems. We call it evolution, and it's basically just trading one illusion for another illusion. There's one way we will find out the deepest truth of all is when we cash in our chips, we croak and go back home and meet our maker. Then I think we will have. Then I think the walls of reality the absolute reality will filter in, and we'll see much more divine truths. We'll know them. So from the point of seeing deeper truths, we're going to be looking at labels. Now, there's often the word motivation and inspiration are found in the same sentence, and people think they're the same thing, but basically they're not, because motivation is basically dangling a carrot in front of a horse. It's an outside circumstance we desire that we then choose to give chase to. Whereas inspiration comes from inside. It's an eternal value. It's an intrinsic desire that's there, that we naturally follow, irrespective of any outside circumstances. So I always endeavor so I don't consider myself a motivational speaker. I consider myself an inspired speaker, more inspired educator, so to speak. So let's look at the other wise thing I heard. The ones is where it said, if you're going to consider yourself by the color of your skin, whether you've got more melanocytes than the person next to you or not, your sex, male or female, your language, your religion, your country of birth, your culture, your language, if you define yourself by all of those, there was a wise saying that said, you don't really know yourself. There's a lot more going on than we give credit for. You got to take all of the physical particles of the whole universe and remove all the spaces in between them. It would shrink down, condense down to about the size of a dice. What's in between all those spaces? What's holding it all together? The stuff we can't see. It's like when we were all in intense lockdown and just left the planet alone, everything seemed to just find its order quite naturally, just as the planets in space follow their cycles without us having to have put anything into a place to keep that happening. So in all that space, there is an intelligence, there is a force, there is a people refer to it as the matrix, people refer to it as all kinds of different labels. What label have you given yourself? So often people label themselves now as follower, leader, genius, creatives, and while we do display a lot of those characteristics, and it's good to get to know yourself, I just want to remind everybody that we're the sum of all the parts. I believe that in our individual creation, there was a lot of infinite intelligence that went into our creation and our characteristics. There's a lot more genius and planning and organizing that went into that than we could ever give credit to. It's not a chance. There's just too many synchronicities for me to believe that it's just a flip or a chance. But this is Dr. John Demartini, who swears by this. He says that every single person has an intrinsic set of values, a value system that basically they find themselves naturally graduating towards. And if you are not naturally placed in that, you become kind of ADD, ADHD, and you'll basically consume and seek distractions because you're not fulfilling that deeper desire. So having the opposite is when you are tapped in and you are in that space to excel, it is just a natural result. So here's the thing, you'll be a natural follower when you are doing deeds, doing a job, that doesn't fulfill your natural state of beingness, your natural value system. You'll be a follower. And by the reverse, if you are attuned, aligned, and in the process of fulfilling that and living true to those values, you will be a leader, and you will shine. You will shine outright, and you will be considered a genius. So basically, I want you to look at yourselves next time in the mirror and just say, the times that I'm a follower are the times I'm not living to my true values, my intrinsic true values. And the times that I am leading and the times that I am applying my genius is when I'm aligned to my inner genius. Now the trick here is to recognize when you are and when you aren't, and to know the difference in between. So many of us are trapped in a space where we're stuck outside of our values, and there's just motivation happening. We're just gaining a salary. So it's a question of finding out where you are in that picture, how you can fit in to whatever task you're currently busy at, whatever life choices you've made, whatever business you're in. Sit down with management, get an appraisal done, find out where you fit in. How can you apply your genius and let your light shine? Now, going out and finding out what our self-values are is not as easy as we know, because most of the time we're living by default. Just like as you learn to drive a car, at the beginning you have to really focus and concentrate and consciously into the clutch, into the gear, slowly out of the clutch, depress the accelerator, balance it all out and get it going. After a while, your body becomes so good at knowing the ins and outs of this that it basically does it on automatic, and you do it without even thinking. Such is life. Dr. Joe Dispenza says that basically by the age, is it 45 or 40 or so, we are basically just an automatic bunch of habits running along like a computer program. Now that's why a lot of people say they are awoke, or they've woken up, or it's basically you just have stopped living by default. You're now aware of all the old programs of what, and then all these old programs is basically what everyone else has told you to do, and now start to live your life on purpose. Some people don't even know what their life's purpose is. I think it's important that you give it attention, because in order to get fulfillment, you want to have some form of purpose that you can feel that you are adding to, something bigger than yourself, that you are raising consciousness, that you can feel like, man, I've done something today, that you can attribute some self-worth to. Self-worth is a very important thing. It's one of the biggest afflictions to us. There's always somebody faster than you, or somebody cleverer than you. There's always somebody better than you, and it's kind of like, often in school we were trained, if we were not doing so well at something we weren't good at, that wasn't aligned to our values, that then basically stopped us doing something we were good at, so we could catch up with the thing that we hated, that we didn't, and we wonder why ADHD is getting bigger and bigger. Interesting. Okay, so now we've realized now that a lot of the time we are living by default, computers running, and we just carrying on without even thinking twice about it. We're aware of that now. So now, how do we make the shift? We want to now start finding our authentic selves, and most of the time the voice in our heads isn't the voice in our head. It's basically what our parents told us to do. It's what our teachers told us to do. It's what our religious instructors told us to do. And basically, a belief is just a thought that's been repeated, has been on repeat for so much time that you now know it as certainty. So a lot of things need to be kind of undone, if you know what I mean. So, but that doesn't have to be scary. It's just a state of awareness. So now, how do we become more aware of where our true values lie? And it's just a question of now paying attention, because now that we're more conscious of it. So it's basically, every time you cry your eyes out, there's a clue. What was the reason? Every time you gut laugh from your diaphragm, real belly laugh, what triggered that? Those are all clues. It could be movies, it could be books you're reading, it could be clips on social media. Right. The other things you can do are a little bit more academic. Dr. John Demartini has a values determinator quiz that you basically, and it's quite involved. The guy he's freaking off the charts intelligent. So you'd actually need to do his quiz. They expect you to do it quarterly, every 4 times a year, so it's basically quarterly. And then after a while, you start to see the patterns there. Tony Robbins on his side has quizzes that help to reflect more. There's the of whom and what. There's the Enneagram test as well. You can Google that. And there's love languages. Find out what is your predominant love language. So it's about now complete self-focus. Now you forget about playing the blame game and say you, the reason I'm so messed up. You, yes, damn it, there, or you. 85% of employees hate their boss. That was some years ago, a Gallup poll. Not too sure what that's all about, but I just read, I got the whole of the statistics. According to them, they found out that 85%. Now that's pretty disturbing. I mean, and that's also because of people living outside their set of values. They're just not inspired by their job, by their tasks that they're doing. They're not having that fire glowing deep inside them. They haven't found it. There's too many layers over it. So the journey is right there. You now know you are a genius. You are a leader. You are those relative opposites as well. We're all part and parcel of the light and shade. You check out the story of the two wolves. And it says which one dark and one light, which is the wolf that they're at a constant war. The one feeds off of darkness, the other feeds off of light and good. And they say which one wins, the one you feed. Well, actually, you need to feed both because we're all part and parcel. And that wolf that is basically the dark one actually is the grit that once even a reflection of itself. Could be the bully, it could be the violent, but it's also that side which is grit and determination and discipline and all of those. It's just everything has its own light and shade. Just as if too much of the light could cause you to enter into enmeshment. You could be just like I was, a people pleaser, and you did everything for acknowledgement and never got any because you weren't being true to yourself, and it was a shallow representation of my true. People could see it was a fake light I was burning. You can't be anybody else's. You'll just be a watered down imitation of the genius that is that person, of the original that is that person. You're a priceless antique. No one else like you. You are a world champion at being you. There's no one that can compete. It's your unfair advantage. So cool. So my rise and shine message is to, as you rise and shine, first of all, rise. In other words, awaken from the slumber. Time to change stop the old programs from running, at least become aware of them, shake things up a little bit, do things a bit differently. So rise up out of that old hazy, unconscious, automatic default phase and start seeing the patterns that you've been, the habits that you've been doing for ages that actually are no longer serving. And so rise and shine is then to the shine part is discovering your inner genius, because it's there. It's been proven time and time again. So the next time you look at yourself in the mirror when you're brushing your teeth, you look at yourself and you say, greetings, I am a genius and I apply my wisdom. And if you keep on telling yourself that, thought on repeat becomes certainty, and you will start to believe it more and more. It's a deeper truth. So you can then start to let that light shine. And that shine is that little glow that they speak of, led to building your inner glow. Now change the L in the glow with an R and you get the word grow. And we're dealing with a universe that is constantly expanding. So if you're basically that which isn't expanding or growing, is basically contracting relatively, because if everything else is expanding and it's not changing its size, it's going to, and the natural laws of the universe, if something happens like that, it eventually withers away. Whereas something that grows and expands and shines and glows starts to stand out more. So you are not built to fit in, you are built to stand out. So long and short of it is, owners, management, praise and appraise the team, encourage them to find out exactly where their genius is and give them the opportunity to apply it. Once that starts to happen, watch the business scale, and it's up to the teamwork to assist in that, Where is your genius? Where is it gone? Is it lying fallow? It's time to shake it up. It's time to waken it up. Let's put a light on it. Let's rise and shine. Get out that old flashlight, and let's shine a light on your inner genius. Find out where your values lie. Find out where you can apply them. And that way, it's not about trying to change others around you. It's about changing yourself. Changing others around you is playing the blame game. It's putting the carrot outside of the donkey. You got to look inside. You have the ultimate power. We stop living from a perspective of being reactive and just reactively flashing out the same habits that we've done before, and we become proactive. We start to self-observe and find out why is it we're doing what we're doing. Is it aligning with our deeper values? And if it isn't, where did it come from? And if it is, how can I display more of that? So let's rise and shine. It's ready to rock, ready to roll. Let it glow. Let that light shine. Peace out. Much love.
The Big Cigar.